Hey, welcome back to another episode of Projecting Grandeur. I'm your host, Ron Dichter. I am very excited for today's show. We have somebody who is a ball of energy, has an amazing story, an amazing company, and I'm just excited to bring her on. So please help me welcome Alexandra Cochrane from ScandiLabs. Alexandra, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on. It's such a pleasure.
So let's just jump right into things. So before you started ScandiLabs, you went through a period of, deep personal upheaval. And maybe if you can describe the moment or series of moments, when you realized that reclaiming your health, it wasn't just a necessary thing, it was a non-negotiable thing. Like what inner shift happened that you helped to set everything in motion?
Sure, absolutely. So in my 20s, I burned the candle at both ends. I traveled the world and I partied. And when I say partied, I didn't necessarily drink that much alcohol or do any drugs, but I lived on sugar, coffee, Red Bull, and slimming pills from South Africa. So I was in a levitating space, literally. I was flying. Okay. And I totally burned my adrenals. Had my first son at 27, and I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's. And Hashimoto's is an autoimmune and basically underactive thyroid, but it's gone into an autoimmune. So it's way worse than just underactive thyroid. And, and, oh, base, oh, it's just fucking difficult. Can you cut this, Ron?
That is all good. Don't worry. We have a guest dog that's going to be joining us today. It's
I
totally
have
good.
a barking dog in the background. Okay, normally I can hit mute, but I can't because I'm talking. So, anyways, yeah. So this really catapulted me into being very sick, and doctors led me to believe that I'll stay sick for the rest of my life. Meaning, I'd have low energy, I'll feel unwell, I'd be dizzy, because that's literally what I was. I was very, very unwell every single day. So that wasn't okay with me. And that's where my journey started, literally to try and find an answer and a solution to how can I heal myself. So I went on searching for anything that was not Western medicine. And I ended up actually finding solutions after many years. And that is one of the big reasons why I started ScandiLabs, which is being proactive with your health. And also 10 years ago, both my father died of cancer very, very fast and very sad. And my mother then 5 years after that. So it was really, this is an inner fire that I have. And it's a fire that is spreading the message to people that they don't have to live feeling sick. Your body wants to heal itself, and it can, given the right circumstances and knowing. It's all about knowing and knowing the facts of how to do it.
Yeah, wow, that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot of stuff that you faced, from chronic illness, losing your parents. I mean, these are real challenges, and like these experiences, as you just alluded to, really shape kind of your whole philosophy on health and motivate like everything about it. But I mean, is that kind of what drove that? I mean, obviously your health is first, but like, are these culmination of these things coming together what kind of drove that mission to kind of find an alternative in healing?
Absolutely, Ron, because I saw it was possible with myself. I had the first time ever, this was about 8 years into my journey. I found a functional medicine doctor. We lived in London at the time, and she tested my heavy metals, my molds, and my parasites. And of course, I was off the paper high on all of the three. Okay. And if you knew, like, again, I lived with daily dizzy spells, and I'd been to numerous, like, world doctors checking my brain for tumors, scans, all the traditional Western medicine, and said, you're fine. Nothing is wrong with you, Alexandra. And I started detoxing from these heavy metals, molds, and parasites. And literally within five weeks, the shift was so phenomenal, and it was so profound that I could start healing, and I could start actually feeling better. So yeah, absolutely. And really the big shift was COVID happened. And I knew that the first line of defense is your immune system and how important your immune system is. And it wasn't really talked about. And I also knew that having a vitamin D level in your blood over 60 ng per milliliter was like, it took down the chance of dying from COVID by 80%. I mean, these are like stats, and it wasn't even talked about. And that made me really irritated. And that was why ScandiLabs liposomal immune formulation was born. So it was a formulation that was very powerful for the immune system, and I could put it in the hand of people.
Yeah, like so biohacking in general is probably foreign to a lot of people, but how did you, when you think of biohacking just as a, methodology, like what drew you to that? Like, I know you had these challenges, but like, how did you even find that? Like what uncovered that, search for this new kind of methodology of healing?
I did everything. I turned every stone to try and find the solution to feel better. I was so desperate, Ron. I was so unwell. I was unwell every single day. And this is from a person that used to have a lot of energy, right? I was full of energy, but really fake energy. That's why I burned my adrenals, right? But it's so, what should I say? It's like heartbreaking. It's so to be not to feel good, not to
Right.
feel good. I mean, that's the wealth, to feel good. And I feel like my one of my mission statements is like everyone deserves to feel their best. Like, you have one life and everyone deserves to feel their best, and it's totally possible. It's so possible. And that's why I talk a lot about testing. Test your genes, test your heavy metals, test your moles, test your parasites, all your markers, your intolerances, right? So
Yeah.
I think that's key.
Yeah. So how do you go from? I mean, obviously you had these you know very challenging times that happened in your own life that forced you to kind of go on your own journey to find healing. But how do you go from finding your own journey, finding your own sense of healing, to creating ScandiLabs? And like, what inspired like taking that moment to create ScandiLabs, and kind of how do you translate that story of that personal transformation to like talk to a broader community? Because I mean, you've got great passion, I can see, but like what prompted that like transition from personal to business?
I mean, it will be very selfish of me to keep this all to myself. It will be so selfish, and everyone, and believe me, Ron, I mean, at least 5 to 10 people a day on the beach, in the grocery store. I share something that could help them with their health every single day. And this is just an inner drive that I have, Ron. And with the liposomal formulation that I created 5 years ago, CDK, AE, and elderberry in ScandiLabs, and very bioavailable, which was also a key component. We can come to that later. It was literally, I call it a message in a bottle. So this was a product I could stick in the hands of people, and I could start talking to them about their health and what was going on in their life, right? So that's what it was. And then from there, ScandiLabs has evolved into a wellness company. So I brought on biohacking stacks. So these are big pieces of equipment that I represent. And I am very proud to say that I represent only the best in the world. And they are all, it's a lot of snake oil out there too. So me and now my new team, because I've created 2 other companies, we actually we offer, like, we vetted all these companies, we vetted the best products, and we bring them into clinics, homes, and big projects of hotel chains and spas, etc.
Yeah, I love that. That it would be selfish of you to keep it to yourself. That is an amazing line. I might borrow that.
Yeah.
Uh, so ScandiLabs uses liposomal delivery in its immune formula. Like, we're going to tap into that, but like, why was that an important choice for you? How does that affect efficacy and transparency? And for those of us that don't know exactly what that means, maybe just quickly kind of talk about what that means, liposomal delivery.
Sure, absolutely. So I am Scandinavian, Swedish. I am no bullshit. I'm very straightforward, and I cannot stand things that don't work. I don't like gimmicky. I actually can't stand it. It makes my hair stand up on my arms. And liposomal, why? Because the bioavailability is key to taking supplements. Okay. You can take handfuls of supplements, but if they don't absorb, what good is it? You basically wasted your money, right? So liposomal ensures we are actually encapsulating the vitamins in phospholipids that are under 100 nanometers. This is also very specific and very important to ScandiLabs formulation and the person that makes it. He's the best liposomal scientist in the world, where some liposomes, they are not created equal. Some are large and gunky formulations, which are bigger nanometer profile and therefore not as bioavailable. Okay. So, but if we're comparing, that's comparing liposomes to liposomes. Now we compare liposomes to regular vitamins. Well, regular vitamins have to go through your stomach and the strong gastric acid, which actually breaks a lot of them down, and you only absorb about 20%. Okay. With liposomes, it goes straight into your bloodstream and it absorbs through your cells, through the phospholipids. That's the whole technology. And it's been used for over 20 years in cancer treatment. That's what they use. They use liposomes to deliver cancer drugs. So they are directly delivered, very potent and powerful. And you can also actually argue a lot of people have vitamin drips and are familiar with IV vitamin drips. And I have seen studies where liposomes are more powerful to get into the cells than IV vitamin drips is, because the IV vitamin drips, a lot of them is just circulating in the bloodstream, where liposomes are actually getting into the cells where they should be.
I feel smarter today because now next time somebody brings that up, I will be informed. So thank you for that. So your Swedish heritage clearly influences your work. When you talk about Nordic principles, like how do those show up in the wellness philosophies behind ScandiLabs, the business?
Yeah. So again, what I said. So clean, scientific, no bullshit. Okay. And that's in everything that I do, everything to all the biohacking equipment that I represent. I don't like the snake oil and I vet everything for its efficacy. I give you an example. Okay. I represent red light beds. Okay. And I use them myself. I use all these pieces myself and I know what it has done to me. Right. So the red light beds, there are many different companies out there. Well, most of them are too weak. They're using LED strip lights. Okay. And the panel that you're pulling on top of you, laying like in a sunbed, right? It's too far from you. So the effect will be very little, where I represent a company that has very strong patented diodes where we're mixing the lights and the distance to the face is it's very close to the face. So inverse light of law and also the power of the lights, the irradiance. That's one example of everything. But this is stuff that I geek out on and I love it. And
I like it.
I get to be around every day. I'm surrounded by these founders, these scientists, these like amazing people that are just like, oh my God, I'm learning every day, Ron. It's so exciting.
Yeah, no, I can see it in your enthusiasm. Well, so the whole show, Projecting Grandeur, is really about claiming your potential before the world gives you permission to do it. And I have to think that as I think about Scandi Labs and kind of conveying to the world this new way of thinking, like what practices have really helped you to convey that and stop outsourcing kind of your health, start owning your health, and kind of taking ownership of you and your own body. Like, how does Projecting Grandeur fit into that in your view?
Oh, I mean, Ron, we got one body, we got one, this is what we got, right?
Yeah.
So how can we upgrade it? How can we feel amazing every day? So there are pillars to that, right? So we got, and you know all about this, Ron, because you're a health nut yourself, right? But it's movement, it's clean eating, it's grounding. So basically take off your shoes and connect with the earth every single day. Amazing benefit. It is every morning, go out and take the first sunlight that resets your circadian rhythm, because sleep is one of the 5 pillars, which is critical, right? Then it's relationships. So how are your relationships, your friendships, right? Look at the blue zones. They're hanging out with each other, right? So quite different from like a Brian Johnson. You got Brian Johnson, which is on the other side of the spectrum. I mean, he does a lot of good for our industry, but I think he's missing some of these parts that I'm talking about, right? He's taking all the right supplements and eating at all the right times, but he's missing that part. So, and then the spiritual part as well is very important. So gratitude. These are simple, free practices that everyone can implement every single day, and little micro shifts and little micro mini changes every day will bring big shifts in the long time. Yeah. Breathing exercises. I do it every morning. Right.
Yeah. No, it's so true. And you don't have to, it doesn't have to go from nothing to something. Like it's iterative, right? Don't knock yourself out trying to get to the end result. I love that.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
so sharing personal pain publicly, it can be really powerful, but it's also very vulnerable. Like, how have you navigated showing up authentically, while leading your brand, but really grounded in your own story? Like, what is that like?
Yeah, I mean, I think showing pain is being vulnerable is very beautiful. I think that's a key, and I think it's a key thing to coming across authentic. Because if you're not vulnerable, I mean, everyone has a story, and the story is part of what makes you you, right? Like I tell my kids, it's even life is not always good. Life has to be bad too, because if you don't have the very difficult moments, you'll never appreciate the good moments. And you will never form into the person you're supposed to become. Right. So if I didn't have this struggle, Ron, that I had with health and my parents dying of cancer, I would never be doing what I'm doing today. Never. How could I be here? I wouldn't be here. That this would not be what it would look like. So those things are important. They're part of the journey. So I think that's really how I feel.
I love that. I think so many people try to brush their past under a rug and only put their best self forward, especially with social media. And I think you're doing it the right way, and having that authenticity is shining through.
Key. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so, so as a coach, as a wellness guide, like, what's your philosophy on helping others step into self trust, proactive care? Like, how do they do that? What's the first step?
The first step is to trusting your body that it can heal itself because it wants to. What is preventing it from not doing that? That's number one, right? And then setting some of these practices that I talked about in action, which is, you know, eating clean. That's like step one, take away a lot of the junk. And by the way, in America, we're always fooled with all these different, like the packaging, like, yeah, healthy, whatever. And it's like you scan it with the Yuka app, or like you look at it, I can just read it and you see, it's like, excuse me, that wouldn't even be allowed in Europe. So if you try and really be conscious about what you eat, as clean and as close to its natural state as possible, and then we got the movement. So again, the little habits every day. And breathing, I think, is phenomenal. Look up Wim Hof and Wim Hof breathing technique. That can change someone's life too. That's an incredible. Are you familiar with Wim Hof,
I,
Ron?
I'm
Oh,
not. I want to look that up right after
oh my
this.
God. Wim Hof has climbed Mount Everest in shorts like 5 times. He's a Dutch Viking. I mean, the guy is fabulous. He's like 65, but he started the breathing technique because his wife committed suicide and he was so depressed.
Wow.
So now he's world famous now. He's the one that is behind people ice bath bathing.
Okay.
He's
Well,
behind basically this whole thing of people plunging themselves in, cold plunge.
I'm gonna have to look this up. All right,
You
I'll
gotta
ping
look
you
him
through.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
And
awesome.
then the other thing I got to say too is, yeah, dial in your sleep. Sleep is key. I use the Aura Ring to track. I don't know if you use the Aura Ring. Aura Ring or Whoop, I think is amazing because you're tracking your sleep. And why? Because again, if you've got the information and the data to see how things can change, your HRV, for example, I measure my HRV every day, which is heart rate variability, which is your parasympathetic, right? You want to be in parasympathetic, rest and digest rather than in fight or flight, correct? Because
Right.
everything will work better. So you will measure this and you'll see what works and what doesn't work. Like going to bed after 10 is actually, it impacts your sleep score. Well, what about eating an hour before bed? Not a good idea. It impacts your sleep score, your REM sleep, your deep sleep. So these are all part of kind of the stuff that I'm up to.
As a dad of two, one teenager and one older than that, you're reinforcing my parenting philosophy, which is nothing good happens after 10 o'clock. And the second one is macros matter, but read the ingredients; they matter more.
There you go.
So I
There
like
you
that.
go.
Uh,
Yes. Yes.
So let's talk about ScandiLabs. Like, I loved your journey. I've been watching you since you just got started with it to where you are today. It's been very exciting to see kind of the arc of the business grow, and as the information gets out there and people become more informed, how they embrace it. But like, what's on the horizon with ScandiLabs, and more importantly, as you think about the long term impact and the future of health empowerment, like, what do you hope to bring to? I want to be ambitious. The world. Like, what do you hope to do with ScandiLabs?
Okay, so let's just start there. What do I hope to bring to the world is information, it's enlightenment, it's telling people. Most people don't know this. Like for me now, I live in this. I live and breathe this every single day. And my surrounding people are biohackers, right? This is all we talk about every single day, the HRV and the parasympathetic. And most people maybe don't even know what it is, right? So for me, it's bringing information to the masses and that's why I started the Biohacking Blondes, which is a podcast where we interview incredible people. I just came off it now, an hour ago. So with ScandiLabs too, ScandiLabs has actually gotten many tentacles right now, or not many, but a few more. So the Biohacking Blondes is the podcast arm, and then also I've created a company called Lamara Collective together with two other phenomenal women. One is Ashley Madsen. She is a very well-known functional medicine doctor in New York. She built 6 practices, 4 in New York and 2 in Palo Alto for the very kind of high-performing executives she was treating. And the other woman is Claudia von Boschlager. She's also a quite well-known podcast host based in London, former investment banker with Goldman Sachs. And then it's me, which is the biohacking stacking, specialist. And the 3 of us have come together, and we're in front of some huge projects right now, which are everything from very big hotel chains all over the world, actually, to spas, to clinics, to private homes in Dubai, Saudi, etc. So we are in front of very, very large projects where we can get our message, and we offer basically our 360 protocol to bring in to all these places. So very easy, and with an AI component as well to it. So, whether you like AI or not, it's here. I mean, it's here and it's just continuing. So get on the bandwagon or stay behind, kind of. I mean, for me, it's all about the message. Obviously, huge passion. It doesn't feel like work, what I'm doing. I love what I'm doing. The people I'm meeting are just like the most enlightened, amazing, spectacular people. And then the other thing that I'm doing, which is very close to my heart, is I'm on the board of a stem cell clinic out of Thailand called the Demarest Clinic. They've been up and running for 6 years, and we're now building the second clinic that is going to be up and running, I would say, in 3 to 4 months in Nassau, Bahamas, and I'm the project manager for it. So that's also very dear to my heart, because our doctor that is going to come on board, we have 2 of them coming initially. They are from Germany, and they are cancer stem cell doctors for the past 20 plus years. So they are cancer specialists dealing with cancer and treating it with stem cell treatment.
Wow.
So this is super, and obviously very close to my heart. This is my parents in heaven orchestrating this to help as many people as possible.
I love
You know,
that. That's it.
yeah.
That's so great.
And by the way, Ron, I wish I had all this information I have now when my parents were sick. I mean,
Mhm.
they would, in my opinion, still be here.
Yeah.
So this is very dear to my heart, that I don't want other people to go through the same fate as they did, because it was painful, and no one
Yeah.
should go through that.
Listen, you are sincere, you're authentic, you are vulnerable, you have all the amazing qualities. I've had the privilege of getting to know you over the years, and really hope that our audience can learn from you as well. If anything, they can take away the liposomal delivery and the importance of it, I think is a huge message. So, first off, thank you for all that you do. I think it's just amazing. And thank you so much for taking time out. Just so our audience knows, and I'll add all this when we put out the episode, how to contact you. But is there any websites, any contacts? How do people get a hold of you?
Sure. So my website is scandilabs.io. Okay. Instagrams is ScandiLabs or Alexandra Cochrane too. I also have lamara-collective.com. That's the website for Lamara. And then I have Biohacking Blondes on Apple and Spotify. And
Awesome.
LinkedIn is Alexandra Cochrane.
Awesome. Well, I will tag those, and I will make sure I add them. But listen, thank you so much for joining us today. Really love your story. Really love your passion. And I am on board with AI, and I'm on board with tracking data. So we are fully aligned here. So thanks again.
Thank you so much, Ron. You're amazing. Thank you for doing this as well. Thank you for bringing it to the world, your passion and your
Uh,
mission,
I
right?
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, everyone else, thank you for tuning in today. Don't forget, like, comment, and follow Alexandra and ScandiLabs and all of our amazing opportunities and companies. And don't forget, share this episode with your friends, because sharing is caring. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.